welcome back. It is now October 4th and we finally had a somewhat of a frost last night. We did get down to 0 and there was a little hint of frost here and there, but not too much affecting the crop here yet. You can see this barley stubble. We do have some volunteer canola and stuff in here, but I mean in reality, probably not really worth spraying this out. We're just going to wait for a frost in here, which should occur, you know, anytime in the next couple weeks really here. We should get a killing frost, and that'll take care of a lot of this volunteer barley or any wild oats, stuff like that. So we're just going to kind of wait for that to happen for right now. Well, here's more canola regrowth. This is another Invigor variety up by Carmen Gay, and you can see it's regrowing, flowering pretty well. We're even, you know, setting lots of little pods in here. But one thing that I am noticing a lot of this week is still, even though it is that time of the year, we're still really not seeing very much for winter annual weeds, things like flicksweed, stinkweed, shepherd's purse. There's been very little germination of weed seeds on the ground, even kochia and stuff. Just, it's been so dry. There's just absolutely no moisture in that topsoil, and that is really affecting, you know, weed germination. So we're just not seeing anything like that. So if you're not either, I mean, stuff like this canola, it would be nice to spray it out and, you know, reduce its moisture and nutrient usage, but really it's probably not economically worthwhile. Not when we should hopefully be getting a frost. This weather really is becoming quite unusual for us to be going this long without a killing frost. Normally by this time of the year we've had at least one snowfall and we've had a severe killing frost, and even Canada thistle will be burned off. 2 years ago in 2019 we had 2 feet of snow in some areas in the last week of September, and that was pretty severe. And this year there's been nothing like that, and pretty much nothing in the forecast yet. I think there is a minor chance of flurries next week. Well, here's some irrigated winter wheat by Picture Butte, and this is doing pretty good. We're kind of averaging 3 leaf, which is about perfect going into winter here. And now you can see we got a whole bunch of winter annuals in here are germinating. There's shepherd's purse, there's dandelions, there's stinkweed. All these little guys are all starting to come up in here. And we're going to probably wait till spring to control them, but we're actually going to spread some Fortress in here this fall. We were planning to do that around Thanksgiving as the soil temperature cools down, but that's coming up pretty quick. I mean, that's the end of this week. Soil temperatures are still very warm, so I think we're going to hold off on that for at least another week, maybe 2 weeks yet, until the ground temperature is colder. Well, a lot of the silage oats got done this week, which is good because there's, you know, potential for snow squalls and frost next week, so good to get that off beforehand. And it would not hurt to do a little bit of fall irrigating for those of you that have the ability to do so. It's, so far the forecast is looking like a pretty dry winter, so you're going to want to make sure you have as much water in the field going into winter as possible. And yeah, pretty much every day now I got fewer and fewer fields to look at, so I think my field season is rapidly coming to a close. Well, potato harvest is still ongoing. There's still a couple fields left I know of, although it seems to be on pause for now, so I don't know whether contracts are full or storage is full, but something's not moving at the moment here. But it's unbelievably hot here now. It is 27 degrees even though it is currently overcast, so that is highly unusual weather here for the first week of October. Couple more weeks and no frost in this field, and the guy could probably combine another 5 bushels out of here. Here along this headland we let stand a strip of CP21T3P, the new canola from Winfield, and you can see, like, there is quite a bit of regrowth stuff in here, but you can see it's actually held together pretty good. There's the odd pod here and there that is shelled out, but considering that it's been standing and mature now for weeks through all that wind, those 80k winds we had last week, and this is a pretty thin stressed crop, so it's really been bashing against each other, it's actually held up remarkably well. It's definitely well under 10% pod shatter in here. Well, we are now Thursday the 7th, and we finally had a decent frost overnight, got down to -3, -4, so you can start to see a little bit of limpness on this alfalfa here already. It's now about 10 a.m. and you can see it's a little bit limp, so we probably are going to see some frost damage, especially on, you know, like these young tender canolas and stuff like that. So it will be good to see some of this green disappear. Potato harvest looks to be going good today. It looks like they got about maybe a day's worth of work ahead of them yet, so they should be finished by the end of the week. Here is some silage oats north of Picture Butte, and as you can see, we're not really in head emergence yet. I mean, some of them are just starting, but it's a pretty small minority. It's probably only a couple percentage are in head. The rest of them are all still in boot stage. And with the weather forecast for next week, including snow, it's probably going to be a good idea to take this off now before Monday. You know, as soon as we start getting significant frost events in here, this is going to shrink down and drop down pretty quick, especially if we get some snow on it, as well as there's a chance nitrate levels might be a little higher. So my recommendation, if you still got standing oats, would be get them done this week yet. Well, those colder temperatures last night did definitely knock back the flowering canola a little bit. You can see we got pretty good flower abortion in here. This field was pretty yellow yesterday. It doesn't look nearly as much so today. So that is kind of good news. It'll kind of dry down some of these fields. Well, in case 12 other salesmen haven't already started bothering you, it is time to book your canola and seed sales for next year. It is looking like certain seed varieties and brands might be a little bit short, so you're better to book now rather than wait. And yeah, see if you can get what you need for next year anyways before there's any shortages. So give us a call, talk to you know, Harv, Gary, Jens, or myself, and get your seed booked. Well, once you get a few miles southwest, they were kind of out of the frost area from last night, and this rapeseed here, these forage type brassicas, are pretty much none the worse for wear from last night. There's no sign of frost damage in here at all. With the change in the forecast, we do have some antifreeze in stock, so if you need some antifreeze, please call our office. There is limited supplies available. Well, Friday morning now, and we did have another decent frost last night, I think about -4, so you can see this poor forage corn has now been pretty well frosted. So it is pretty much time for silage in here anytime now. It's only going to get worse next week, so might as well get her done. Here's a field I haven't shown in a while. If you remember earlier in the season, I had this field of barley silage that was underseeded to rye, and this is how it is looking now. So the barley silage was taken off quite a long time ago, and the rye was irrigated and allowed to grow, and it's given us really good ground cover and really good grazing. Pivot's been running around in here, and this rye's been growing like crazy. There's been quite a few cattle on here for many weeks, and they're just barely keeping up to the rye. So this has worked very well this year. Well, this will probably be it for the season for the regularly scheduled videos anyways. I'm sure I'll have a few more over the winter. I do have a few videos I've been working on all summer that I will probably put out relatively soon. But I think there probably won't be a whole lot going on in the field from now on this season. So I think we're pretty much done. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year.